Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. This week, we've got a lot to talk about. The Nintendo Switch 2 was announced last week, and what we want to figure out and explore is what the implications of this new console means for Pokemon at large, and more specifically, Pokemon Legends ZA. We got a lot of topics to discuss today. If you're new to the channel, my name is DustyGogoat. I'm also with the LumiosePost.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
How you doing, boys?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited.
It seems like every single day we are expecting news from Legends ZA, which is going to happen eventually.
That is the stressful
Are you
part
sure
about
it will
this.
happen eventually?
It'll definitely happen eventually. Eventually. And
maybe they just shadow drop the whole game. That's what people are saying.
2028.
Yeah.
ZA news by then. I promise.
I mean, we really could see some shadow dropped information or a trailer for Legends ZA. I don't think it's out of the question. The Nintendo Switch 2 was shadow dropped last week. I don't think we've really actually... Let's start with this. Let's talk about the Switch 2 a little bit. We've had a couple live streams. We've shared some thoughts with other creators, but we've had some time to digest a little bit now. What are you guys thinking? Like a week later, maybe 5 days later, what are you guys thinking when it comes to the Switch 2? Do you have any thoughts that have not yet already been shared? I got some ideas.
I'm gonna be honest. I've seen, maybe. All right, look. Here's the. I'm gonna preface what I'm about to say with a disclaimer. I think that the internet is a largely negative space.
Yeah,
and especially.
No, that's wrong. I disagree.
Twitter, right? Yeah. Well, and on
joke.
Twitter, I've seen a lot of complaining about the Switch 2 is basically in concept a Switch Pro. But look,
knew that was coming.
Of course.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Yeah, but all I have to say to that is I really disagree with complaining about this. For one, dude, they didn't give us a ton of stuff from the reveal, so I don't think we quite know the scope of how much this is jumping from the Switch 1, so I'm going to defend Nintendo there. But I'm also going to say, man, I know as a kid, I was always playing my 3DS, and I loved being able to play it in the car, but I did always think, I kind of wish when I was at home I could play this on my TV, you know?
Yeah, dude, and it's a dream come true.
Right.
The Switch is a dream.
Why do we need anything more than just a Switch with improved graphics? After the Switch 2, I want another Switch that has even better graphics than the Switch
100%.
2. Because it's the perfect console, in my opinion.
Yeah, if they just get up to on par with the best consoles like PlayStation 2. Or 5. I saw Switch 2 and I said 2. But yeah, if they get up to par on that, then it's it's like the best console there is. I saw people saying that it lost Nintendo's soul, where it's they always try to innovate and try to make some gimmick for their systems, and it's just the same thing, and it's but it was already perfect, 1. And 2, they still have crazy gimmicks on this. The whole mouse thing, we don't know about it yet. It's like you said, Lumi. We don't have the details of it at all. I'm pretty sure the C button and the mouse thing are going to be gimmicks that are Nintendo-like. Because they aren't really going to give that stuff up. And it's a better console overall. I also saw today.
To what you're saying is you think there's some tricks up their sleeves, right there.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
there's two. There's two, what are they called? USB-C ports. And the idea
I don't
is
think
that
there's two, actually.
There
I
are
think
two.
People are.
I think there's one on the bottom, one on the top.
There's two.
I don't know if there's one on the bottom. I think
they just showed it.
One on the bottom to the top.
They just showed it.
Let's see. Yeah. Go back in the trailer.
It's right there.
Yeah, so there's the bottom one.
It's all four, man. One and then two.
One on the top.
Which makes sense because when I charge it like this, right now I've got it in my dock and it's using the bottom plug.
Yeah.
But if I have it propped up, where you pull the little kickstand out, which I'm not able to get my grubby fingers around. There you go. Then I can't charge it, So now I can charge it using the top USB port.
But also, I think the other implication is not just for the convenience of charging, but also for apparatus, right? I don't know why anyone would ever say that Nintendo's losing its charm or whatever, because I don't know about you guys, but growing up playing the Game Boy, there were always these stupid, dumb apparatus all over my console, right? And I think I think with another USB-C port, you can do all sorts of new things. I think it opens up the door for not only first-party, what do we call these? Applications, accessories. Accessories is a good word.
Accessories, yeah.
Yeah, but also third-party ones where they can get a little
100%.
crazy.
Before you move on to that, I was gonna say I saw a tweet. I think it was from Centro actually, so I don't know how believable, but they were saying that they're reporting that a lot of third-party companies now want to like make games or are making games for the Switch 2 because it's like on par with the games that are being sold for like more modern consoles. I don't know how to describe it, but you could even look up the tweet if you wanted to. But yeah, basically it's just that it's strong enough, like powerful enough to play like I don't know what the big games are that are coming out. You know, God of War or
That
something.
the Switch 2 is going to be powerful enough to play some big games.
Yeah, I mean like PS5 games, you know, not just like so. Third-party people are thinking about it, making games for it, whatever the actual report was.
Yeah.
But then to go back to what you were saying, with the USB-C on the top, like that tweet that you just pulled up about them adding like a top screen to it would be crazy, and it would just be like an accessory. And this means a lot for Pokemon because of ports.
So the image. I haven't even read this, but the image here, it's by Nintendo Switch 2. I don't even know if this is a credible account or whatever, but it says, thinking about that patent application Nintendo made in 2022 for an electronic apparatus that looks an awful lot like a second screen for the Switch 2. And I think a lot of people expected. I remember being excited at the idea of the Switch 2 having two screens, right? I think it just kind of makes sense, right? The 3DS had 3D play, right? Whatever. So, but it is kind of cool. Obviously, we see that the Switch 2 does not have two screens, but the idea that all they would have to do is just have something that pops in place. And then all of a sudden you have two screens. It can totally
be an accessory. Like it doesn't have to be part of the actual system. Like we buy screens for our computers all the time, just like this. So you just plug it in, they make a way that it can sit on top of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is.
And it's for Pokemon
anyway.
It's for basically the idea is it's the reason why someone would want two screens is so they could very easily port or have another option for when they port DS and 3DS games. There's so many great DS and 3DS titles. Obviously, what they could do is just put you could put the big screen on the left side and you put the small screen on the right side and you have a layout for it. That's very easy to do. The Nintendo Switch does have a touchscreen. The Switch 2 will have a touchscreen. For us Pokemon fans, that's exciting because of the prospect of being able to play all these old games, whether it's through the Nintendo Switch Online or just through a real purchase. That is exciting. And even though they can do it already on one screen, it is cool, and definitely I would buy the heck out of this if they made a Pokemon-themed additional screen, and now I'm playing these old Pokemon games in a more, like a more authentic way, in a way that's more similar to the first time I experienced these titles. So, yeah, this is really cool. It would be cool if this is something that ends up being real. I mean, we could see it as early as this year,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I hope
we're
so.
here, y'all. The future is now.
Yeah. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't know. I think this is cool to me. And there's so many other things that they could do that I'm not even thinking about. I've also seen. I think there actually is a version. I really didn't even mean to go down this rabbit hole. I'm sorry, guys, but like there is even a version for the Switch 1. Where you basically you can turn your Switch like vertically, right? And there's a plastic piece that snaps on the sides, and it basically places your Joy-Cons on the side, so you can play.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
that
would be fun too. That'd be a
so
really
it'd be like playing like this.
Yeah,
easy way to.
And the
switch it
idea
up.
is to play again DS games or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
how handy that we have our Switches right next to us. Right?
Yeah, I just figured
that makes life very convenient for
mine's
these videos.
behind
It's kind of
me,
nice.
Well,
but tell me, tell me this, guys. Do you think you're actually going to get a Switch 2 on launch?
On launch, I personally will not, because I do think that there will be a Gen 10 edition Switch. They did it for Sword and Shield. They did it for Scarlet and Violet. They did also do it for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but that was for a light. And they did it for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I feel like they're definitely going to do a Gen 10 themed Switch when Gen 10 rolls around, probably in 2026.
Yeah.
And based off rumors we've heard about what the Gen 10 games look like, I feel like that Switch could be phenomenal looking. And so I want that. Now, that said, if
What do you
for
imagine?
whatever reason there was some kind of, I mean, you know, there are rumors suggesting that Gen 10 is going to feature kind of a island
Nautical?
hopping. Yeah, so like I'm thinking like a nautical Switch, which is, dude, that's everything
Yeah.
to me. I mean,
Like the
my-
wind,
my-
like you can see gusts of wind, and you can see like
Right.
endless waves, right?
the
on the
Joy-Cons are
console.
like an ocean blue, you know?
Yes.
I'm
dude,
here
that
for
that
it,
would be
man.
nice.
We hope that that's what we're actually
Right.
getting.
And maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But either way, my brain is like, you know what? I haven't had a Pokemon themed console since Diamond and Pearl came out, and I got the Diamond and Pearl themed DS, and that doesn't even work anymore. So I am like, I want a new console. My wife does have the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Switch, so I guess technically speaking, I kind of have that because you know what's hers is mine, right? But I want to get me a console. I want that excitement from it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not a big console guy, so I think this is something that would make me excited and make me kind of love my console, right?
Yeah.
Like Dusty, we were talking about on our live stream where we reacted to the Switch 2, which y'all should check out, by the way.
Yeah.
But
a pretty
you talked about
in-depth
how you're like
analysis.
attached to your Switch.
Yeah.
And I want to be that way, but I don't care about this. You know, it's boring, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I got the new OLED, and it kind of changed the game for me. I remember buying the OLED and being a little hesitant because of all of the rumors that there were for a Switch Pro. And I was like, why am I buying the OLED if a new system's about to come out? And I'm glad I bit the bullet because 2-3 years later, I now have this nice OLED system, and my wife is able to play my old Switch, which has been really nice to, like, you know, hang out on the couch at the end of the day, and she's playing Stardew Valley, and I'm playing, you know, I'm catching Pokemon. It's fun. It's a good vibe. But yeah,
The Scarlet Violet one was an OLED, right?
It was,
Like
yes.
that edition
Yeah.
was an
Yeah.
OLED? Okay.
So on the screen right now, I have all the 4 different Pokemon edition, special edition Pokemon consoles for the Switch systems, and there's a Sword and Shield, and I guess it's the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl editions of the Switch Lite,
Those are both light, yeah.
which is kind of weird. I really don't know why.
Yeah,
I
they just
don't
did
know
it for
why.
just that.
No, but like the Sword and Shield one is kind of a pretty color, and it's
It
kind of
is.
retro, and I think that would have been a cool system to get for the base
Yeah.
Switch.
I think that's the best one, to be honest.
It might. I do like the.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think I wish the Switch, like the OLED that I have, I wish the stand was like black, or maybe it was, if it was actually scarlet and violet and then it had white accents. I think I would have liked that more.
I just realized the Sword and Shield one's a light.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Sword and
yeah.
Shield one is light.
Lame.
Isn't
Yeah.
that lame?
It's just like, why did you do that?
I
And then
guess like the light
was
had
later
probably
on.
just it was later on too. What the heck?
I'm pretty
That's
sure
so
it was
weird.
later on in the Sword and Shield lifespan. It was.
Oh,
later
you know
on.
what? Maybe it was like an attempt to like kind of cross promote both the light and
Yeah,
the
probably.
like the Switch, not Switch, excuse me, the Sword and Shield bundle that came with the DLC RA on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Remember that they released like November of
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah. I don't buy these. I just
I
get
don't
the
either.
one.
I
I just
don't-
get the one
I
that
don't either, but
get.
I want to.
and
I
that's
want
it.
to buy it. Like I told my wife the other day, I was like, because there is a world where I buy a Switch 2 on launch day. Like, let's say for whatever reason, I can think of 2 scenarios. For one, let's say there's a Pokemon game I'm interested in, whether that's like a mainline game or even like, I mean, God knows if they say Pokemon Snap 3 is coming to the Switch 2 this year, you better believe I'm getting it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if like they were like, oh, Legends EA plays phenomenally better, like it is a giant leap in quality, the Switch versus the Switch 2.
Yeah.
I would get a Switch 2, but like I've already told my wife, I was like, if I get a Switch 2, I am going to next year when they release the inevitable Gen 10 Switch 2. I am going to go to the store and I'm going to trade in my Switch 2 for that console, unless I hate it. Because I will say, while the dock
That's a
and the
possibility.
Joy-Cons, yeah, while the dock and the Joy-Cons of the Scarlet and Violet one look good, I hate the Switch. I hate the way it looks.
You don't like the Switch? I'm sorry.
Like
general?
the Scarlet and Violet edition of the Switch.
Oh,
The Switch or the dock?
The Switch.
Oh, I love
on the back.
the
where it's
back
like
is the best part.
I don't like it. The graffiti, I hate that.
Look at all the graffiti all
you
over
have
this.
very odd style. I like it a lot.
I don't like it.
I think
I don't
this
like
is
it.
so cool. I think
it's cool. I just wish it wasn't the starters. But
I
that's just
also,
me.
also too.
Well, no, you know what? There's a Go-Goat on the system. There's literally a Go-Goat and a Hatina.
Is there a Go-Goat on there?
It was
That's
made
cool.
for
There's
you.
a go. It literally was. Look at. There's a Go-Goat at the top. You can barely see it.
Oh yeah, the little.
And then
like,
there's
bird
there's a
company.
Hatina down there as well. That's my wife's favorite Pokemon. So it actually is like the perfect
that is
system.
perfect for you,
Isn't
yeah.
that nice?
Yeah.
I will say too.
But
like,
Quaxley's on it, which that's tough.
look, I grew up most of my life. I grew up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And South Carolina, you got two teams. You got the Gamecocks and you got Clemson. My family was a Gamecocks family, so that's orange and purple, which is Clemson colors. So I think there is
see.
like probably a subconscious.
Yeah. North
Scarlet
Carolina
Violet,
heads.
you know.
North
Those
Carolina
colors
heads.
aren't for
Let us
you.
know in the description or in the
That's
comments.
South Carolina, actually.
South
I, lived
Carolina.
sorry.
I was born in North Carolina and live there now, but
Okay.
I grew up a lot of my life in South Carolina.
Let us know if you understand that reference in the comments.
To answer your question, though, will you be getting a Switch 2 on launch? At first, I thought no, but since it's backwards compatible, I think I'm gonna just get it right away. I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna get it right
Dude,
away
I love that. I think it really just comes down to like whether or not it makes sense for your budget and it's the time it comes out, because these things, these editions are not 4 different games. This is what, $300 to $400 a piece. Like, that's an outrageous amount of money for a system which, again, is essentially does the same thing. I am only gonna get. I am not going to sell my Switch because it's a special edition and because over time I do like to have a couple different systems for different purposes, and then it becomes convenient to be like able to like trade myself something, for example, right?
It's true. Sometimes there's benefits to having two, but
it's also like a sword, right? It's like it's like it's my weapon of choice, right? This is my this is mine. This is mine. So I think, and it's like an expression. It can be an expression of, you know, I don't know. I think there's no purpose to buy all these systems unless you're a collector, or if you have the money. But I'm happy.
Or a scalper.
Yeah, I needed
God.
I needed to upgrade, so I got the OLED, and now I have the OLED. But I will say I really do love the Diamond and Pearl, the black Switch Lite, and it has this gold shadow or this gold silhouette of Palkia and the silver silhouette of Dialga. How cool would that be if that was Ho and Lugia?
Yeah, see, those were
that's
good.
a reference to a DS that they released. That was the DS that I had.
Wow.
If you look up the Diamond and Pearl DS, it's copy paste. I'm telling you.
Of
It was
course
one of the
is. It
coolest
was
things they ever did.
BDSP.
The only reason, fair, right? The only reason
remake.
I didn't get it was because it was a light. So it's like,
Yeah.
Diamond and
The
Pearl
only
DS,
reason I didn't get it is because it had Palkia and Dialga on it.
That's actually so cool.
See, it is copy paste. That's like the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. That's really cool that it literally is it's even the console is a remake. That's actually so cool. Here, keep talking. I want to show you guys something.
I mean, just
talking.
the colors of both of the lights are incredible, right? But I don't buy these in general, but the main reason I don't buy them is because they're never the Pokemon I want that are on it. Like, I don't care about having these on my console.
But if it was Eternatus on the Sword and
yes,
Shield
that would
console,
probably tempt
you'd
me.
have gotten it.
That would tempt me. It really would.
Even for a light.
No, because I have no purpose for a light. I have
That's
purpose
where
for
I
a light.
was with the Diamond and Pearl one. I was like, I'm not even crazy about Dialga and Palkia. It was nostalgic to me because that was the DS I had.
Yeah.
But I was like, it is a light, and I do not want a light. You know?
I don't want to make this a whole thing, but the light is one of the most pointless things I think they've come up with, because it's just like, it's kind of like the 2DS, to be honest, but it's like a
No, but
it's bulky still. Like I don't.
No,
I'm sure, it's probably like this big.
And push back.
I
I
don't
think
think
Cheap
it's
alternative
that
if
portable.
you have kids, you know.
Yeah, I've seen so many kids with them actually.
my sister bought one. I know some kids who bought one. I would say I agree with you, Saul, though, because
For
like
kids.
with the
For
2DS,
kids.
you're removing a feature that is already not even popular or integral to most games.
Yeah, but
I-
the actual build of the 2DS is what bothers me. Not all that. It's just
Sure.
like
Sure.
a block
You
thing,
can't
and you're
fold
like,
it. Yeah.
What
But
is
functionally,
this?
it plays the same games where or
Right,
the
right.
player
That's
experience is the same.
Yeah.
Where the whatever we're calling this, where the Switch Lite can't be docked, and I feel like that is it. Can you even call a system a Switch if it can't switch
Yeah.
between handheld
Right.
and docked?
Right, it doesn't switch. So why is it called a Switch?
Here's a question for you. Do y'all know how successful the Switch Lite was? Like,
I'm sure it was though.
you think it was? Because the reason I ask is because do we get a Switch 2 Lite, in 2 years?
It's possible. It's very possible.
The fact that I want to show something else, but the fact that what's the size comparison of the Switch? Like, it's so much bigger. I feel like here, yeah, this is base
I wouldn't
Switch.
say so much.
This is
but
the base Switch, and it increases. Dude, that's like a 25% increase in size. That's huge.
Is the question is like that base Switch that they show, is that the OLED like size? Because I know it's different. I think the OLED.
No, the OLED, the screen of the OLED is bigger, but the console is still the same size. And if I'm holding these,
yeah.
and hold on, I'm just doing this live. We're doing this live. If I'm holding my Switch and now it's even bigger, that kind of intimidates me. I don't know how comfortable it's going to be able to be. I don't know how comfortable this system will be to play on handheld.
Yeah.
With how big it is in size, Yeah. And
I'm fine
because of that,
with it. The bigger the better for me. I like the screen size bigger.
if they make it bigger, you know what I could see? I could see a Switch Lite that can dock.
That would be appropriate.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
we
then
get
that's kind of the Switch, isn't it?
I don't want to speak for Nintendo because I said earlier I'm not a console guy, but I do think the Switch Lite was effective in that it gave, because I know my sister-in-law, she has 3 kids, and they're all boys, and they're like within a year or two of age with each other. And so the thing is, they had a Switch console, and they always were fighting over it. So she's like, I'd like to get them their own, and then us have the family one. So she was like, I'm going to buy them Switch Lites so that they have their own console. And then they have, and it offers a cheaper alternative so that she's not, dishing out $300 on 3 kids, which is, almost $1,000 after tax. It probably is.
That's what it's all about, really. That's what it's really about. Yeah.
Man. So we're watching the trailer right now, and to see how I do appreciate how small this is, because I do think there's, I like smaller devices. I actually much prefer when I'm on the go to have, and this is what I was going to show you earlier. I much prefer to have my DS and to play like my DS games on an airplane or whatever, because it just is nice to be able to slip it into my pocket. Like literally, I'll wear this shirt on a plane, and I can just slip it into my pocket, right? Like,
that's fair, and I think that a light
look at
should
that.
be
That's so
like
nice.
that. But the problem is that the Joy-Cons don't come off. That's my biggest issue. Or like
I
like
agree.
it folds in or something. Like it needed to do something like that.
But I think for the Switch 2, there's an opportunity for them to introduce a new system, maybe a year down the line or 2 years down the line. It's a smaller form factor, right? And it is positioned in the same way as a Switch Lite, but with the trade-off that it can dock. I think that would be massive. But this is
It still has the top screen so we can play DS games.
this is my Pokemon Black and White
That's cool.
special
I like that.
edition
I do
of
like
the
that one.
DS
It's
Lite.
so nice. That one is
And
so nice.
I picked this up on eBay. I didn't
know you
have it
had that,
originally.
Dusty.
Yeah, this is just a fun thing. I think it's a Japanese edition, but it's so nice. It's so nice.
Probably
And
gonna
it
be
doesn't
worth
mean
money one
anything,
day,
but it's just cool to have
If it
a
ain't
DS
already.
Yeah.
that has, some special edition Pokemon markings on it. I think that is a lot of fun. So
I will say, Dusty, I did just successfully fit my Nintendo Switch in my pocket.
Oh, sure.
And
How?
I'm wearing sweatpants, and I was able to zip it up. So
That's insane. Well, you must have some big pockets.
I think I do.
'Cause I don't think I
just
could-
realize
there's
these pants have gigantic pockets.
There's no way I'm
But I
fitting
did.
my Switch
It's
into
in
my
my pocket.
jeans. That's insane. I would say another really cool. So like Well, what do you guys think about this? Like, all right, Switch 2 releases, let's say May, and then Pokemon Legends Z8 comes out. Are we gonna see an edition of? Are we gonna see a special edition Switch or Switch 2 that aligns with Legends ZA?
We're not sure. I'm not sure if they do one.
There's this really cool concept
Depends.
by our
Yeah.
friend Cardinal. It is a Switch 2 mock-up, and this is what gets me thinking. I'm like, yeah, any sort of Legend ZA Switch would be epic.
I think it depends how soon, like, it releases after the Switch 2. Like, because they're gonna just want to sell the regular Switch 2s right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless if it's
in
like
August. then-
yeah, if it's like 4 months later, maybe they'll do one. But if it's like 2 months later, I don't see it happening.
I could see-
unless
I
they
think
do it like
also probably
way later.
Depends.
Yeah.
I would think, again, not a console expert. I feel like I have to keep giving that disclaimer for
No,
myself.
you don't need
either.
to.
Like,
no,
I feel
well, this is a Pokemon
inexperienced, like,
podcast. We know Pokemon.
compared to y'all on consoles.
Dude,
but,
I don't know anything about consoles.
I do also wonder if, for one, we don't know all the launch titles that are happening with the Switch 2, or at least the Switch 2 games coming out this year. I think we're all kind of assuming Mario Kart 9 or the next Mario Kart game will be there. But do they do a Switch 2 edition of any of those games? If there's a Mario Odyssey 2, do they want to do a Switch 2? And, so it's a question of how many Switch 2 editions do they want to put out this year?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
As
they're
well.
already doing it for Mario Kart Odyssey 2, and they're going to do it next year for Gen 10. Do we want to mess around and do it for Legends EA 2?
You guys want to hear
Also,
something
who-
sad? You guys want to hear something sad? Legends Arceus never got a special edition Switch.
And that's your answer. I don't know if they're gonna do one for ZA.
That's crazy.
The proximity to the new Switch 2 coming out is probably not gonna help it. And so, like, if they wanted to do one, it might be like way later on. That's what I'm thinking. Like, in February or of next year or something.
Yeah.
So
But that
knows?
doesn't make sense because I think
if there's black
they
and white
launched
remakes,
it-
they might just want to do a black and white remake one.
That's
yeah,
true.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ah, that's too bad. I mean, that would still be sick. Honestly, yeah, if they make a remake of Black and White and then we end up getting this same thing, but like a
Glory.
But like
I don't think anything can beat that. That is so sleek.
This thing is crazy,
It's nice.
though. The Switch concept here
Yeah.
by Cardinal.
Yeah, it's
this-
so good.
If this happened, then yes, I would get this.
Oh,
I told him
100%.
I would like it much more if it was the 50%.
When are we gonna
but
have
I
them
don't-
on?
I don't know how much 50% is gonna be really in this game. I hope
I would want
there's
this
a lot,
one just for the Joy-Cons, man. The Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Cons are cool, dude. Honestly, that's the thing. Like, you say you don't like the back. I love the back of this of my Scarlet and Violet Switch, but like,
but Lumi's like, look away.
but then you get
It's
these.
just personal preference.
But then you get these.
Yeah.
I feel like the special editions for the Switch were also like the only way to get colored Joy-Cons.
Yeah, like
Did
that.
they? I thought launch era Switch. They had, of course, my boring thing with the gray Joy-Cons, but I thought they also did like one with a red and a blue Switch, like Joy-Con.
There's a bunch of colors.
Just like they even showed it in the trailer. They
Yeah.
for the Switch 2, they showed like the
the red and blue
red
ones
and
are
blue
definitely.
Joy-Cons.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
on
yeah.
the-
You know what I really, really like about the Switch 2 though, and
What?
I'm hoping at least, is just that the Joy-Cons are bigger because I
Well, they
always
are
had an
bigger.
issue. I had an issue with that with the Switch, like just the tininess.
look at
of
this right
playing
here.
Like this.
Oh no.
Yeah,
it shows
I
you
know
it.
that they're bigger. I'm more like how big and like how far apart are those buttons really to the stick? 'Cause
I
it's,
think
like,
they show it right.
it doesn't
there.
matter that much if
small.
you're like this, where you're still having to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They kind of show it. I
but-
mean, I'm holding it right now.
Right.
That's
But
pretty
The
big,
main
I
thing
feel
is
like.
that
Yeah, they
part that
increase.
sticks out in the back is great. This part right here, that it has so much more to where it's like buttons, like a
Yeah.
R button and an L button.
You're not cramped
instead
like
of-
this. You have a little bit more space. Yeah.
Exactly. That was one of my biggest qualms. Like I hated
Yeah.
playing with just a single Joy-Con. Like that's the worst to me.
We're gonna be playing Pokemon
You
on
must
this
have
system.
loved Let's Go.
No, I absolutely hated Let's Go.
That was sarcasm. for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
record.
This
This is why.
All right, this is kind of a fun theory. I saw Lutu, friend of the podcast, say this on Twitter. They suggested the idea of using this new mouse mode for the Switch 2 to basically use the mouse mode like a computer mouse to be able to organize your PC boxes, to organize Pokemon Home. That is
Yeah, it's
actually
like literally the best thing.
the
to
best
use
thing in
those
the
for.
whole world.
I think that's what AJ from Redirect said on our show last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Insane.
It's just like point and click, So if it is a mouse, it's just so much easier to
That
use.
would be awesome.
Yeah, I hate.
It would be so
I hate
cool.
pushing all the buttons to swap through menus and
Yeah.
everything every time I'm doing all of that. Because I guess all Pokemon fans just sit there and organize their boxes. Because I know I do.
Last
I
week,
do.
I
Yeah.
spent.
How do you organize your boxes? That's a great conversation.
It's a
How
huge
do you organize your
conversation,
Pokemon
actually.
boxes?
How do you do
I
it,
think
Lumi? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go. I
you go, Saul.
I do it.
No,
in
you go,
the
Lumi.
way I have like a whole. I have a whole. My first box is like my team box.
Okay.
Okay.
Box
Those are
one.
like all the Pokemon I want to swap out and change in my team, and then from there on, I just catch all the Pokemon of the region, and then I try to put them in order.
Like Pokedex order?
Yeah, Pokedex order, just like going from there on.
interesting.
But then
Okay.
like the box that you go, where the team box is, the first box, you can like swap back to the last box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you go to the left or whatever. That box is like usually my legendary or like my shiny box, one of those.
Okay.
Like so
Sure.
I'll do like, it depends on the game and how I'm feeling, but sometimes I'll do like a shinies, these are my shinies,
Yeah.
or these are all my legendaries that I have. And that's it. That's how I do my boxes. It's pretty simple,
That's
but it's a
solid.
lot of organizing,
Yeah. I do something pretty similar. I guess it depends. With Pokemon Home, it's been nice because I can move things in and out, and I've started to now keep shinies in home. I have my like living decks in home because that frees up so much space. But I usually still have, I'll have like 3 boxes, maybe 4 boxes of like battle ready Pokemon. I'll have a box for like the legends that I've captured in that game, and they're fun to like, I just want to keep those together so I can use them. And then I'll have another like 4 boxes of shinies, but again, I've been trying to move those now over to home. With the fear that, if my console tanks, I still have all my Pokemon in home, which is nice. That's just like a bad intrusive thought that I'm always having. But
Yeah.
I need to organize my box. I actually deleted maybe 25%, 30% of just bulk that was in Pokemon Home. Just stuff left over from like X and Y, stuff that was left
I
over.
probably should do that.
I did it recently and it felt really good.
I hope it can work for Pokemon Home like this as a mouse, because my Pokemon
watch
Home,
it not. I know. It
I
sucks.
generally do the same kind of organization that I was just saying in Pokemon Home, but I have like a trade. Oh, I forgot I have like a trading box too, where it'll just be like, these are just for trade, like fluff for trade. I don't know what the right word is. Extra.
Yeah, I catch stuff
Pokemon for
throughout the
trade.
game, and the rest
Yeah,
of my
like-
boxes are just like loose Pokemon.
Yeah, they're like the excess Pokemon. So
Yeah.
I have like 2 or 3 of boxes like that in home, and I'm just like, wait, is this the real one that I want to keep, or is this the one I don't? And I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, I need to get rid of this, and I need to organize home like badly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I like to think that we all do, but we probably don't need to
Yeah.
organize home. I
No,
know
we
I
gotta-
do
we
too,
gotta
so you're not
organize it.
alone, Soul.
with home, I have a really terrible system, but I kind of love it at the same time. What I have is like the Pokemon and then an empty slot for their shiny. So like, because I want to do shiny living decks in home basically. So I'll just have like, Garchomp, the worst pick ever actually. Garchomp and then a shiny Garchomp right next to it. The same thing for its
How do you tell
entire
them
line.
apart?
Yeah, I don't know, but just because they're right next to each other. So yeah, so I have like 2 for each. So that took so long to do in home, but I did
It's worth
for
it.
most generations. Yeah,
It's worth it.
Sure. I do kind of wish they'd let you access the boxes of home on your phone, and then like you could
Yes.
touch screen, like just kind of slide things
so
around.
much
you know?
easier.
I think it's so
That'd be much
frustrating
fun.
that the home app is so disconnected, or like at least functions so differently from the actual console app. Because I like the console app better, but this thing is I don't know, the home app is bogus.
Yeah. I think you can tell a lot about a person by the way they organize things. So I feel like I know you better, Dusty. I feel like I know you better.
Yeah. It's
Do you
fun.
do it
It's fun.
differently, Lumi? Or what?
I do it differently from y'all. I have mine by type, but
Wow.
I organize each type in Pokedex order. So like my grass box is like beginning with Bulbasaur, and then the last mon in there would be like, I guess probably Iron Leaves.
What do you
or
do with like
Poltergeist, something like that.
what do you do with like junk Pokemon? Are you putting like the Badoo that you just caught in the grass folder in the grass box?
Why did I catch a Badoo?
So I don't know. Sometimes you find a feisty
No.
Badoo and you're like, you know what?
Not me.
This Badoo's got spunk. I gotta catch this.
No,
thing.
not me. Not me. My Pokemon
Okay.
have a purpose.
All
If
right.
I'm catching them,
Very
you know, if
utilitarian.
I'm catching them for some other reason, they're quickly released after. Like
Yeah.
my breed checks are released. I might keep like 6 in like the last box that I probably have titled like trade or something.
Yeah.
You know, to like if I want to do surprise trades or something like that. And then I do have a box for Pokemon IIV train. So if I catch something because I want to like, you know, make it battle ready, I'll put them in that box.
Yeah.
I have a box for like if I'm building teams, like you know, shameless plug, but you know, we have if you become a member, we have a league, and I do like I'll prep like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm about to take on the Elite Four. Here's what their teams look like. So, and I'll put in like a
That's
battle
cool.
box, not like a actual battle box.
This
but like
makes sense.
a PC box called
This
battle.
makes sense. Your
I put-
boxes are for competitive. My
Yeah.
boxes,
But
Soul's
then-
boxes are for collecting.
Yep.
The boxes that I am most proud of are, I've got them up right here, in fact, is while I do have obviously a normal type box, as a child I thought it was so funny that Ash got 30 Tauros in the Safari Zone, so I did the same thing in Heart Gold and
Stop
Soul Silver.
it.
And so this is my Tauros
What?
box.
Are you
That's
kidding me?
hilarious.
What do you do
I'm
with
not
them?
kidding you.
He
Just
They're
ki-
there.
just
From there.
hang
They're
out
my
at
children.
they just hang out at Professor
They're his
Oak's house.
children.
And then
Did
and
you
then
name them?
obviously, you know, had to do it for these guys too.
Oh
so
my
these are Paldean
gosh.
Tauros, all also
my
caught in
God.
a Safari Ball, by the way.
What?
I don't have enough space for all that.
What do you mean all caught in a? How do you have that many safari balls?
I cheated a little.
you bred for them.
I caught a combat breed in a Safari Ball, caught a blaze breed and aqua breed, each in a Safari Ball, then bred them. So
That's
I have
insane that
10
you-
of each to make 30 Paldean Tauros.
Dude, that's hilarious that you did that just for like the meme, but you don't.
Just
share,
for the meme.
But you don't
But
share
his
the
meme
meme
for himself. The
Yeah.
meme
Yeah,
for
no, I
himself.
don't. It's literally just like for me. I
Every
love
time you
Tauros.
brush by
I
it,
did
you
this.
just chuckle.
I did this for
look,
me.
I love Tauros, and when I saw as a kid that Ash had 30 of them, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So
I
I went
get
and
you
did it.
doing it when you were younger, but I like now for Paldean
But now,
Tauros,
yeah,
it's
I
like,
love it, man.
It's like whatever.
I had to.
It's hilarious.
So all by type except for my Tauros.
You know what? Let's thank our sponsors.
Okay. Well, we want to thank all of y'all out there supporting the show in the various ways. We've been doing a lot of live streams lately, and we've gotten a lot of super chats, donations, gifted memberships. All of that stuff helps so much.
Yeah,
we do
seriously.
want to single out our mythical tier supporters, though. That's Hayden Segal, Ryan Amphosinus, Coronet Highlander, Chris, Tyler Low 15, Primal Gray, Case Stills, NMT Arts, Gray Williams, Papa Nito King, Northender, Travis Mashburn, Matt Hale, and the Poke Kiddo 1. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporter, Red, and we want to give a Gigantamax size shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level supporters, Young Smokey and Bramtastic. Thank you
Hey,
all.
Thank you guys so much for all the
Y'all are
continued
so great.
support. Yeah.
So
So many
many.
names. I feel like
many.
I'm rapping when I read them off, man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know, yeah.
So many.
I was chuckling because I heard Papa Nito King, and I was like, "That's
Papa Nito King.
I love
Yep.
that. That's so good. That's so good."
We
Yeah.
have like 18, I think, is the number I just counted.
Yeah.
I'm
It's-
bad at counting, so
No, absolutely. If there's just it's I don't know. It's been really nice. Actually, yeah. If you want your name to be read, you can join one of those higher tiers, and get your name read on the show and recognized. But also just $5 gets you in the door. You can get into the secret Discord. You get access to all of our VODs. You know, there's a bunch of playthroughs that I've been doing. I'm gearing up to do some more playthroughs. Those will be accessible to you. Those playthroughs end up just being, 2 to 4 hours of an extended podcast where we're just hanging out and talking about Pokemon. But we also have a bunch of locked away bonus episodes of Secret Power. Those are also accessible. And we are. This is what I was gonna say. On the 11th, is that the right date, Lumi?
let me double check.
February
but I'm pretty sure it is
11th.
February 11th, indeed. Yes.
We
So
are
that's
doing
3 weeks. from
February
recording.
11th. We're doing another live call-in show in our secret Discord where supporters can call in, talk to us, hang out with us, and ask us questions. We can speculate about Legends ZA, talk about the Switch 2. Anything you want to talk about, you can bring it up, call in, hang out with us, and you'll be featured on the video will be available to everyone.
Yeah, it's so fun too.
We did one previously. Yep.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that we did last week or
for the record,
last month.
February 11th is within a month from now. So if you sign up today, a membership lasts a month. So if you sign up today for a membership, you will have access to this specific call-in show we're talking about.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And yeah, that's all. I just wanted to say that. We appreciate everyone who supports. Absolutely. We've been growing our team. We've been growing our production of a lot of stuff. So all the support that you guys give us greatly helps out. We're just preparing. We're biding our time, preparing for Legends ZA. We're getting ready for our takeover. So, anyways, we love you guys. Something that I wanted to talk about, guys, about the Switch 2, about Pokemon, is the fact that this game is very clearly, I mean, obviously it's backwards compatible. I'm looking for the screenshot right here.
There you go.
They made it very clear in the trailer that this game's backwards. This system is backwards compatible. I think we all expected it, but I do think this is important because the next round of Pokemon games, I believe, are still going to be on the Switch. Legends ZA.
Legends ZA.
What I think any Pokemon game that comes out before Generation 10 will be on the Switch, right? Which can be playable on the Switch too, but will be for the Switch. And I think the bigger implication here is something that we kind of we've been speculating about for the last couple of years, where is that, like, usually I feel like often with a new generation of consoles, there's kind of a reset, right? When it comes to the game catalog. Again, specifically, I'm talking about the Pokemon games. And I think with the Switch 2 being really just an extension of the Switch, I think there won't be a reset. I think if we get another Kanto game, for example, it would actually be experimental. I think basically, right, we just looked at all these past Switch games that came before, right? The Faithful remakes, Sword and Shield. We had an open world game. We had Legends Arceus. I think these were all experimental, and I think rather than retreading a lot of those experiences, we're actually going to see a continuation. I think Nintendo and Game Freak have a vision for the end of the Switch 2's lifespan, right, in 8 years or whatever. And I think what that's going to look like is having like 10 different Pokemon regions and experiences to play within, right? Mm-hmm. Are you guys following? I don't know. Does that excite you at all?
I'm letting it sink in.
Yeah. Does that excite you at all?
It excites me. I do think that I think that Pokemon, with the way consoles are evolving, technology is evolving, I do think we're at a point where I think Pokemon needs to, especially with DexIt, where only a limited amount of Pokemon are available in each game. I think that we should be at a point where we can kind of play in different regions and bring stuff over from different regions. One thing I love that Pokemon's done is they've made Pokemon Home backwards compatible. So even though Sword and Shield was Generation 8 and Scarlet and Violet was Generation 9, I can catch a Pikachu in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I can send it to Sword and Shield. Yeah. And that, there's some caveats to it. Like, they change, the moves, of course. So, like, obviously, one new move in Scarlet and Violet is, like, Ceaseless Edge was introduced in Legends Arceus. So I cannot, send something that if it had Ceaseless Edge, I could not put it in Sword and Shield. It would change that. But I think that that's really cool. I think that's such a good answer to DexIt because, I can still play with a Pokemon that's not available in Scarlet and Violet on my Nintendo Switch, or soon my Nintendo Switch 2. So I think that makes sense. I also, too, honestly, the anime has recently been promoting, like, going to different regions, right? Pokemon Journeys was all about Ash Ketchum going to all the different regions we had seen up to that point. Pokemon Horizons, they've gone to Paldea, they've gone to Galar and Kanto and Johto. So if you're hopping around the anime too, I think it's going to make a lot of kids go, well, I'd like to, play in the Kanto region. And by having a game where you can do that, and not only that, but they can take that Pikachu they love from Pokemon Sword and Shield and send it over to Let's Go while they're playing it. perfect. They need to keep at that. I
Yeah.
think they're going in the right direction. I think that there is so much potential for that to only improve. Like the first thing I thought when they announced that Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Home, excuse me, I'm still in 2013, in case you couldn't tell, but Pokemon Home, it being backwards compatible, like in it being where I can send Sword and Shield stuff to, Legends Arceus and Legends Arceus stuff back to Sword and
The
Shield. All
backwards
that.
compatibility is so great
Yes.
of not only the Switch 2, but also Pokemon games in general with Pokemon Home.
Well, and the first thing it made me think of was, man, it would be really cool if they released Pokemon Emerald ports, and I was able to take this Sceptile that I'm using right now, that I've had since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I was able to send it into this Pokemon Emerald port and use it there. The idea of doing that is so exciting to me, and I really think they might be building up towards that, and I think that addresses every major problem that I think big fans of Pokemon have. Like DustyGogoat is a recurring thing that people are mad about, whether you agree with it or not. I think people get upset about it, right? Like Swellow's one of my favorite Pokemon. I understand why they did DustyGogoat, but I am still sad.
Yeah,
that
you want to be able to
Swellow's
use that
not
Pokemon
in a game. So I think it's the perfect answer to all of it, man. I really, really do.
The 3DS, I would say the DS systems collectively, right? The DS, if you had a DS and a 3DS, you could literally play every single Pokemon region and experience. Maybe not experience, but you could access every single Pokemon region and story, let's say that, through Virtual Console, through, you were able to, play.
You could in 3DS alone, not even with the DS. You couldn't the 3DS
You're
alone.
right, with the DS alone, because the Gen 3 games, yeah, you're right, absolutely right. On the
Gen
3DS.
1 and 2 were Virtual Console. Also, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you could play it on there.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, on 3DS, you're
never
absolutely
thought
right.
about that.
On the 3DS, you were able to play every single Pokemon game and experience. You could go to Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, and Alola. Every single region was accessible.
It makes sense though
on the
because
3DS.
they were like all on the same kind of system. Like they made them compatible all the way up until the Switch, and then it's like, oh, we're moving to a home console now, so it's different.
So
But
my
we're really
vision,
close on the Switch, right? Because
Exactly.
Legends EA has Kalos. So what are we missing? We're missing Hoenn, Johto, and Unova, right? That's all we're missing.
Yep.
No,
So-
Alola as well.
Yeah. So my vision for the end of the Switch 2's, console life line or whatever, right?
The end.
My vision for the end of the Switch
Dang.
2 in 5 to 8 years, right? Along the way, we're going to end up gaining access to these new Pokemon experiences through ports, through faithful remakes, through true remakes, maybe revisits through DLC. We're also going to have the addition of new games entirely, right? New regions entirely through Generation 10, Generation 11.
Reimaginings of old regions.
Yep, exactly. All of these new things will unlock to us, and I think the opportunity for the Pokemon Company is to allow us to play some of these older experiences on the Switch too. So that's kind of my vision for the future, and because
Let's hope it's Pokemon's vision.
and that's not that crazy because it's not crazy.
No, it's not.
Like it's not unlikely because the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, and they don't need to retread Kanto with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They don't need to retread Sinnoh with Legends Arceus or Diamond and Pearl. They don't need to go back to those regions. They already exist, right? Those playable experiences already exist.
It's literally just 4 they're missing. They're just missing Unova, Alola, because Kalos is getting filled this year, of course. Johto and Hoenn. And
They're
really, if
missing
you
all the
want to be
best ones.
technical, you can go to Unova.
Yeah, you can.
Because the Blueberry Academy.
That is not the same. But they're
No,
missing
it's absolutely not. I would not personally count
the
it.
good
but
news about them missing the best ones is that the best ones are yet to come.
That's true. Yeah.
still on the horizon.
So that's what
I
I'm.
want.
Yeah, that's what.
Legends. Alola, I want it, please.
Yeah, definitely.
Legends Marshadow goes so hard.
I really think some 3DS ports or HD ports or whatever you want to call them are on the horizon. Because if you look at those,
Hopefully just for Hoenn, so get Hoenn out of the way.
Well, they could do X and Y, they could do Hoenn, and they could even do a Lola. I think they're already, if you just throw an HD, if you just upscale those games to HD, they already play fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're already fun experiences, and I think they could very easily port them. I was thinking about last week when we talked about when we were screaming at each other, debating what the best Pokemon games are, and actually the thumbnail, the on screen right now is like the little bonus episode that we uploaded on Monday. And in this episode, we got kind of hostile, and I was listening back and reflecting on, someone made the point about like cost. Right. And I think that actually is where a lot of the frustration stems. I just take for granted. I'm like, a Pokemon game is going to be $60, whatever. I'll welcome it because I'll still play it and get enjoyment out of it. But I do think one of you mentioned cost, and that does actually make a big difference. Right.
I think it's less about the cost and more about the value of what we're getting versus the amount we're paying. It's not really about like I don't have the money to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like you can have the money if the game's good enough, and that's what I'm saying. I think
it's like should Legends Arceus be valued the same as, because I bought both games. Legends Arceus was the same price as Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
That's
and that doesn't feel right to me.
The value does not equate.
Right.
And I think I look at it like they are all interesting and worthy of existing because they allow me to experience that game in, on the Switch or whatever, right? Like, to me, I can see the value, but I think when I do compare that to what it's worth, I can see a little bit more of the frustration, because you're right. I do think Diamond and Pearl, or the remakes, really are like $30 games. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are great, but it is true. Is it really worth $60? Right? Should I be paying the same amount of money for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee as I have for Scarlet and Violet, for example?
That's how I'm looking at it.
And I did not
really the
consider
monetary value, but the comparison of, they're saying it is equal to this.
Yeah.
And I feel like with like the 3DS and the DS era, it did feel like they were equal. I felt like Soul Silver was equal to Diamond and Pearl in its value, and it was the same price. That made sense. Oris felt like the same as X and Y in terms of how like, I would value it. But Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to Sword and Shield? No.
Yeah, I see that. I didn't really consider it like that. Because usually, no matter how much I pay for it, I'm going to sink enough hours into it where it kind of it off-puts the cost, right? Like, if I've played Scarlet and Violet for 300 hours, 400 hours, the game is practically free. I mean, when you think of entertainment and the amount of money that I put into it, it's nothing, So,
and that you make money off of making videos about Scarlet and Violet.
That is true. Yes, that is
so
true.
you have quite literally paid for Scarlet and Violet.
That's a good point. Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because I was, I don't know. I think we're in a new generation of consoles, and that's exciting to me. That's exciting to me.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking about when it comes to Legends ZA? Like, what's on your mind right now? Soul, you've been tweeting a whole lot.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like unleashing your you're just like unleashing your theories.
Can I take your question and rephrase it into I think a fun, engaging way, and comments answer this as well. Okay, so you find out that Game Freak's going to drop a new bit of information on Legends ZA. You get to pick one thing they will reveal in it. What are you picking? So you can say, I want to see a new Mega. I want to see the starters. But you get one thing. What are you picking? Because for me, it's the starters. I'll be the basic person there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't gameplay. I want to see gameplay. Because I think when you see gameplay, you also see the character and everything. Because I'm interested. Yeah, because I'm interested in seeing, like, I don't know. I think that question of, like, I'm thinking of two things right now. The question of time period is interesting to me, but I think what I really care about is, like, what is defining these Legends game, right? That's like what we've been asking for a year now. Like, what is a Legends game? What does that mean? Yeah. Is it just like a format for storytelling, or is it a definition of the gameplay?
Yeah.
Soul, I feel like your answer at this point would just be the release date. Am I right?
You're so right. You're right. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about it and I was just like, what do I really want to
Well,
know?
it's like I don't even want to see the game. They just need to drop, hey, it's coming out at this time, and Soul's
Bro,
like, great.
from
Cool.
literally like after they announced it back in February of last year, I was like, okay, so the biggest piece of information I need to know is just when is it coming?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I don't care about anything else because I will prepare myself for like knowing how long I need to wait and all of that. I would like to know when this game is gonna happen because yeah.
No, I'm with you, man.
It's a
it
Pokemon
is killing
game,
me.
and it's a Pokemon game, so I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna like it because I'm a Pokemon fan. So I don't need to. The seeing everything is like
It'll
just to get
happen.
a little more hype, you know.
Yeah.
Like when we get the release date is when they have to start. Like
Telling us
we will
stuff.
know the amount of time that they have to promote it, so that then we'll know that we're gonna get some promotion. Do you know what I mean? Like
that
was
makes
the
sense.
question.
That's the
That was
agonizing
always
part.
the question. Yeah.
It's frustrating to not know when the game is going to release because we've been excited all year. But I think, Soul, if they said it's not coming out until, let's say, November 2025, you could have taken another vacation, right? I was going to say vacation, but you took a vacation. You could have, played a different game and just relaxed a little bit,
Yep.
But I feel like every
Absolutely.
single month we are anticipating something, and when it doesn't come, it ends up feeling... And this is why I've just kind of unplugged and I've been playing old games. Yeah, man, I think the release date definitely is something that's very... it would be just comforting to know, tell me this. Would you have preferred them not tell us about Legends EA? I feel like they told us about Legends EA so we could actually have something to look forward to for a year. Because I think what it does, looking back, it's definitely a marketing move. It's a strategy to get our minds off of Scarlet and Violet, which had so much bad press. Right?
Yeah, I
The
guess
state
so.
of us, if we didn't know about Legends EA and we're still speculating and complaining, imagine a year of complaining and people so upset with Legends with Scarlet and Violet, right?
I mean, they
imagine
would've
that
given-
fermenting over time.
Yeah, it's better that they did it because I don't even know what we would have been talking about. I really do not know.
We would have been-
like, there
Yeah,
was
as
no there
content
would have been
creators,
nothing.
it's good.
Yeah.
I will say, though, my counterpoint to that would be you're saying, to get our minds off Scarlet and Violet. But the thing is, they don't want our minds off Scarlet and Violet because Scarlet and Violet is still the central Pokemon game. Like, it's what their VGC and all that's surrounding for at least this year, very possibly. In fact, I would say probably through most of next year as well.
Yeah.
So, you kind of can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Game Freak can't get our minds off Scarlet and Violet, but also make it the main game.
Yeah.
But I guess what I wish they had done is I wish they had, revealed Legends EA, but then just been upfront with us and said, coming out in 2025, we'll give you more information on it next year. Because then I wouldn't have had this, August, this is usually when we get our next trailer. And then be upset,
Yeah.
And remind me, was Legends EA originally slated for 2024?
To the public, no.
Yes.
But internally, yes.
Okay, that was found from the Terra leak.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
not publicly. So who knows when
And-
they even changed that? It could have been.
Yeah,
changed a
we
long
we
time
also
ago.
don't know.
So that's probably why they
when
didn't
did
tell
they
us.
say? Well, yeah, and when did they say it was 2024, and when did they change it to 2025? Because probably they've just finished development on Legends Arceus, so they're starting
true.
CA, and they're going, okay, we're gonna release this in 2024. But at what point did they go? Let's make it 2025? Because obviously the feedback to Scarlet and Violet. If gun to my head, if I had to tell you when I thought that they changed the release date internally, I would think they released Scarlet and Violet. The feedback to it is horrible.
Yeah.
And they go, guys, I think we need to let's make
Chill
this. We
out.
haven't revealed ZA yet. We've got DLC for Scarlet and Violet next year. So let's just for ZA, let's just go ahead and call it 2025.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was like. I mean, that's pure speculation.
Yeah,
but-
it's pure speculation.
Yeah. I don't know what actually happened. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A really cool topic that popped up on Twitter. This was by Blaze Incineroar and Soul. You had retweeted it with your thoughts, but Blaze writes, I was thinking about the total number of legendaries and mythicals we could see in ZA. Pokemon Legends Arceus had all the Gen 4 Legends and Mythicals plus 4 Genies. X and Y had 10 Legends total in the Kalos Dexes, so maybe we would get more in ZA to bulk up the numbers, and I tend to agree with that. I feel like Legends Arceus, people say it's not fun to replay, but I'm like, there's so much fun stuff to do in post-game, and to catch those legendaries, that's half the reason why I want to like replay the game. Just to like capture all those new legendaries and move them up into home, you know? Like, that would be so much fun. And it is true, coming off the bat, like, Gen 4 had 1 million legends. Gen 5 had 1 million legends. Gen 6 did the opposite. They just had the 3 legendary Pokemon, some mythicals that we didn't even get access to until years later. The only post-game Pokemon were Zygarde, Mewtwo, and one of the 3 legendary birds. So, Soul, you had suggested that...
just those.
Literally
just those.
Yeah, you're just thinking the Kalos Mythicals, what is that? Hoopa, Deontay, and Volcanion, the 3 Kanto birds, which are present in X and Y, and then Mewtwo.
Yeah, because they were present in X and Y. But, you know, the Mewtwo one made me think a little more, just to be like, maybe they add all of the like Pokemon, the legendaries that got Mega Evolutions, even though like Kyogre and Groudon really make no sense, and they're not Megas technically, so maybe they wouldn't be there. But maybe I think Rayquaza you could add in there. I think Rayquaza would probably be an option.
Yeah, that's cool. I think you could.
I think an obvious one is if you have Mewtwo, why not do Mew?
Yeah, I also thought that too. Especially because the rest of this post I go into is just like, we know that Zeraora was supposed to get a Mega, I guess, for Legends ZA. Spoilers, but basically
the retroactive spoiler warning.
Yeah, whether it gets a
Han Solo
Mega
dies,
or not,
just
whether it gets a
listen.
Mega or not. Listen,
Sorry.
it being in the game implies that it would be like they could just add whatever mythicals or legendaries that they want to.
Which is cool. It's cool that it would.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's shiny. I don't even care if it's Mega.
Oh, I just put the shiny because it's
it's
fun
cool.
and I like
but
it.
I think what's awesome about these, I think what people don't talk about enough is all of these, not only legendaries, but mythical Pokemon that are now available in the game, right? Darkrai, Manaphy, maybe that's it.
It was one of my favorite things.
Shaman as well.
One of my favorite things about Legends Arceus.
Arceus! Absolutely.
Yeah.
None of those were available in Gen 4. And they were like super rare until Legends Arceus. So I think... Yeah.
Somebody brought up a valid point, though. Darkrai and Shaman, I think, were only available if you had BDSP, I think.
But they're still accessible.
One's BDSP and one's Sword and Shield.
They're still accessible. Yeah. That's totally fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, it's still... I can access that. As long as, they're still selling Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, I can still get those.
Yeah,
I mean more so for what are they going to do for Legends ZA? Maybe they'll do something like that, where they, I don't know what Pokemon it could be, but, or Pokemon game.
It might be one of the Kalos mythicals, because it was one of the Sinnoh mythicals.
Yeah, we've got the Kalos mythicals. What are the Alolan mythicals? I could see Marshadow.
I feel like these guys are in the game just because there's so few that they're just just put them in there. They need
which
something
ones?
to do post game, because these are post game legendaries to catch, the mythicals, right?
Especially Diancie, because it has a Mega Evolution.
Well, Diancie for sure. I think almost for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun topic to think about.
Here's a list of mythical Pokemon.
Give me the monkey,
dude. They could go. They could go a lot of different directions. Okay.
I think Meltan and Melmetal have a good chance.
I would say Magearna, Marshadow, and Zeraora are all on the table. I think Magearna, especially because of its association with an ancient city. Marshadow is just kind of being thrown in there, but that is cool, right? If Lumio City is all about light, the idea of a Pokemon that's all about the shadows is kind of cool.
Necrozma.
Yeah, well,
that's
a legend, but yeah, maybe. I think
Soul Praise.
I do. I mean, I think it makes sense because it works like a Mega, so maybe they'd put it in there just to bring it back.
Yeah.
And this is the appropriate time to bring it back. If that's the case, I would have to have it on my team.
I can hear the hope in your voice. Like I can hear the there's a little bit you are like giving like speculation, but also I can kind of hear a little bit of a please Game Freak in your voice.
Yeah.
Please, Game Freak.
I think all right, I got a couple wild ideas here, right? I think also there's a big opportunity or a big connection between Kalos and Hoenn. So the idea of them including Jirachi and Deoxys is really cool. Maybe not Deoxys because that is accessible in Oraz.
But Jirachi, yeah.
But Jirachi is the Wishmaker. It's just I feel like you could shoe that in anywhere. I think that'd be cool.
I do think though you should also weigh which of these are already accessible because you can already get Jirachi and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl if you've played Sword. Like if you have a copy of Sword
that's really
and Shield,
just accessible.
You can. Yeah,
I thought that was a mystery gift.
No, you talk to a lady in Floaroma Town.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's an old lady and an old man. One gives you a Mew if you've played Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and one gives you a Jirachi if you've played Sword and Shield.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So
what's missing?
So they could give us Mew. You can get Celebi from. You can get Celebi.
Celebi's missing. There's no way to get a Celebi now. You could Virtual Console.
Sure.
I think they did something.
Yeah, you can get it in Virtual Console.
Dead.
Crystal.
But that's dead now.
It is.
I think the Gen 7 ones is a good call, actually.
Gen 7 makes sense to me because Meltan and Melmetal, as cool as that would be, I feel like I tie that in with Gen 8 and I tie that in with Let's Go.
Well,
and also
silly.
Well,
it's a Gen 7. Not really, but kind of.
No, it's tied in with Let's Go.
Yeah, which is Gen 7, bro.
Yeah, but Melmetal has a specific Gmax form. What it really is, Melmetal is Pokemon Go. I just got a new Melmetal. I forgot that there's a super easy way to get Melmetal and Meltan. Every 3 days, I can catch a bunch of Meltan and then evolve it into a Melmetal. Like, you can still get that. So that is a good way to think about this. Which ones are inaccessible?
Dude, I'm telling you, you're speaking my language right now, Dusty. I would kill for them to bring back Melmetal and give it a Mega Evolution. I'm sorry.
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying the opposite.
Nah, this game's set in Kalos. If you bring back Melmetal and you give it a Mega Evolution and this game is set in Kalos, it's my favorite Pokemon game. That's it.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think it's possible.
I think Mew is Mew currently accessible?
Yes.
Okay. Through what?
You can get it in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl by having Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee stay file.
Okay, great. Okay, so Celebi is on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You could say Deoxys.
It'd be pretty random, though.
You could say Deoxys is unavailable.
Deoxys is not available on the Switch. I would look at it like the Switch. I think anything off the Switch is fair game because if I do not have a Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I cannot get a Deoxys.
But they want these to be a little bit rare, right?
No Mega Ruby
but they want these to be a little bit rare.
For sure,
and you
but
can
I'm
get
just
it
saying,
with Mega Ruby. But you're right, you can't buy it.
I just don't think they'd rule out Deoxys before they'd rule out something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so
Celebi and Deoxys.
Celebi, Deoxys. I'm looking at. I think all the Gen 5 ones are off limits because that could potentially be for a Gen 5 game.
Well, and Meloetta and Keldeo. Keldeo's in Sword and Shield. Meloetta's in Scarlet and Violet.
They could do Victini because of the associate. There's right. Like I feel like Victini
with France,
is victory. Sure. It's associated with France because of the the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm. You also
some loose connections there.
It's anime only, but when you look at the origins, there is like a lot of connection with Genesect and Mewtwo in the sense that they're both developed likely by an evil team, and Genesect definitely was, but Mewtwo, speculated Rocket was involved.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I want a Genesect Mega.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
freaking Mega Genesect Y and Mega Genesect X.
The only thing that makes me go,
it actually changes its shape.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me go to like a Genesect Mega, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm immediately gonna give a counterpoint to it, is that Genesect, in a traditional Pokemon game, maybe not in a Legends game because Legend games work differently, but in a traditional Pokemon game, you have to hold a Mega Stone unless you're Rayquaza to Mega Evolve. And with Genesect, it has items it holds.
Oh yeah.
However, for one, they could Rayquaza it, and it could be special and not have to do that. It is a mythical after all. And for two, Latios and Latias have the Soul Dew, which is like an exclusive item to them, and they still let them get Megas. So.
Yeah, here's the theory. there's a shock megastone, a burn megastone, a chill megastone, and a douse megastone, and they're all variants of the drive. And then
That'd be wild.
And then Genesect gets 4 unique mega evolutions.
It becomes bug electric, bug
Yeah.
fire, bug.
How sick is that?
I'm on board.
That'd be
But,
insane. No shot though.
There's probably just no items, no held items. In
Oh my
Legends
God, yeah,
EA,
you're right,
So
'cause
it
it's
doesn't even
Legends.
matter. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
If Genesect's in the game, the drives will be like you use it on it, like you did the plates with Legends
Yeah.
Arceus.
So I think, okay, so Celebi could be in Legends ZA. Deoxys has a, I'm going to rank that mid. Maybe that has an opportunity. I honestly, all the Gen 5 ones, I'm not counting them, but those are kind of, they're up in the air. I think all the Gen 6 mythicals are going in. I think we're going to get access to all the Gen 7 ones as well.
I think Magearna has the biggest chance.
Magearna,
And Zeraora.
Zeraora, and Melmetal.
No
Honestly,
Melmetal.
Melmetal's being hopeful. You're right.
Melmetal's
I'm being
available.
hopeful.
It's available in Go. It's like right now you can get it in Go.
I know, but see, that's the thing, though. Honestly, that's if anything, that is a good point for Melmetal.
No, no. Go is
it
only,
absolutely is.
Melmetal
Think
is
about
Go's
it, though.
property. Melmetal is the if you're a
No.
Pokemon fan and you want to get Meltan right now in 2025, you need to play Pokemon Go. If you open the
Okay.
app, if you download the app, now you're in there. You could potentially get into their ecosystem to play the game.
Okay, counterpoint though, Dusty, you are always talking about how Let's Go is a good game because your niece likes it. Your niece probably doesn't have a smartphone.
I didn't say Let's
or at
Go.
least-
I said Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go.
I know that. I know that. Listen, you're not listening. The Let's Go is you're talking about how your niece likes Let's Go and likes to play that. I'm using that as an example to say there are kids who play Pokemon. Your niece doesn't have a smartphone, does she? She cannot play Pokemon Go to get a Melmetal.
She can though. That's a different. I think that's a different argument. I think that's irrelevant. I think as a.
I think the fact that
if you're
it
a
is not
Pokemon,
available on Switch.
I think the Pokemon Company and Niantic have struck a deal, and Niantic wanted a exclusive Pokemon for Pokemon Go to keep players coming back, and then the agreement is they can only get Meltan and Melmetal and Go, but we can transfer it over to the main games, and that's like the connective tissue. That's like a mythical Pokemon for Go, 100%. I will not budge. I can't be.
I don't think so. I think at some point Melmetal eventually has to come to the Switch game, like be available from a Switch game, not from Go. And
I will
Go is
say-
still special because I can get shiny Melmetal that way.
I will say, Lumi, I do agree with you on that point, but it does make more sense for it to be natively in Gen 10 if it's Greece. Like if it's a Greek region,
Sure.
then it
Oh,
would
absolutely.
natively it would make so much sense to be the Cyclops of Greece. Like
For sure,
so
for
that
sure.
that makes so much more sense for me.
For sure. For sure.
It would be cool to see Meltan show up. I could kind of even see that. Like you just find it outside of a lab or whatever. But so those
I
are
don't know.
those are all the mythicals that I think will be in Legends ZA. As far as the legends, I think the only other little twist of a theory that I have is, and Soul kind of alluded to it in his tweet. I think just like we ended up with an Enamorus, right? I'm not saying they have to do the same thing, but I love the idea of us getting a new addition to a trio, or maybe new regional forms for an existing trio, right? I think there's an opportunity here for us to get some sort of new addition to whatever it might be. And I think originally I'm kind of thinking about the Reggie trios, the original Reggie trio from Hoenn, because of all the mega and all the connections between Kalos and Hoenn. But the Reggie's already, it could go it could go either way. The Reggie's already got 2 new additions. But that was like what, 7 years ago? I could see us
3,
getting.
really.
You're right with
Regigigas.
Then honestly, I would love a new Reggie just for Kalos. How sick is
I
that?
know.
How cool is that?
It's
That's awesome.
All right.
You get a
Isn't
brand new
the-
Reggie. What
Not a
type would it
Reggie.
be?
A Regiman.
I mean, what would work well with France? You know, I feel like it'd have to be, dude. Like I don't know.
Would they do a fairy
Like they
type
do a
Reggie?
fairy type, and it's like the Renaissance or something. you
Dude,
know?
An art Reggie.
that
Right.
an art Reggie is so cool. I could
It
absolutely
makes
see
sense.
that.
Beauty, Kalos and beauty. You
The
know.
Renaissance is Italian, but
I think also there's
real
an
quick though.
Yeah.
Going back to the mythicals, what about Zarude?
my boy.
I just think
I'm
it's
a boy.
well. Can you get it? I think it's too new for them to make it accessible. It's not like it hasn't become legacy yet. You know, like I think with Legends ZA, they were like, you know what, these Pokemon have been unavailable for 20 years. Let's make them accessible. Deoxys was unavailable forever, and then in Oras, they're like, we'll give it to you. You can get it now.
But I'm gonna be every 4chan poster right now. You ready?
Yeah.
What are the first 2 letters of Zarude?
Z.
Oh my god.
Confirmed. No.
You know, I'll be like editing a video, and I think to myself, I'm like, wait, does Legend ZA just stand for Zygarde Arceus?
A lot of people think that.
Have we said that
some
before?
People think that.
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people think
Okay.
that. I've seen that before. I don't know if it was here, but I've
No,
seen
it's
it
all
before.
over the internet. I've seen it a million times.
Which that's something too, Dusty.
Like,
if
what's
we're
a
sitting
king
here
to a
talking
god?
about,
You know, what's a king to
if
a
we're
god?
talking about
Zygarde to Arceus.
yeah, if we're talking about like additions to previous legendaries, that a Pokemon could be like a Pokemon that they're adding to the Yveltal Xerneas Zygarde trio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the tweet. Basically, is just Enamorus was the only Pokemon that was not it was a new Pokemon that wasn't a new evolution. You know, even though it was like based off of the genies, which is it's kind of the same thing.
It was a new Pokemon to
But-
add to the genie trio.
It's but it's still a brand new Pokemon. Like it doesn't come from any other Pokemon. So that is like precedent. They set precedent to make like one new legendary for a Legends game.
I would
You know what
argue
mean?
that the Reggies did that. Right?
I mean, yeah, but we're saying for Legends games.
for Legends game,
specifically.
yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I just think I think we've seen that, and I think it's possible to not only just get regional forms of Legends, but like just give us new Pokemon that are part.
Anything's possible.
Because it makes sense. It's like, okay, we have 4 like the Tapus, for example. Okay, there's 4 of them for 4 islands, but they could just be like, there's actually another island that's so small that wasn't in Base Alola, and guess what? There's a Tapu there, right?
A lot of people are saying the Tapus are going to be in this game to catch.
I could see that. You know, they kind of have a lot of similarities to Zygarde, I think.
Wasn't
And
the
Tapu was
totem
first teased in the Strange Souvenir in X and
Yeah.
Y.
So I
So that
think
could have just been a souvenir, and these guys are actually the island guardians that they live on. So maybe they should stay to their islands.
The Strange Souvenir was confirmed to be one of the Tapus. I don't remember which one. My brain wants to say Bulu, but it might have been Coco.
yeah.
Pokemon lore is just so interesting with this stuff, you know, like because they should not be in another region at all, but they could totally be in another.
But you know what? There is
Same with
there is
Mewtwo.
French Polynesia.
Yeah, but that's due to like colonization.
Game Freak's
though.
just not so strict with that stuff. They're just
Right.
like we know you want it, so here it is.
Yeah. Add to the Ruinous Quartet.
I literally was thinking that. I'm like, they're so
That would
weird,
be
and you could slap on a. I made a fake mon for the of a Pokemon that. So like the story of the Ruinous Quartet is that they all like did the bidding, right? They're all possessed or whatever. They're connected to a king, an ancient king, and I was thinking just like how Zacian and Zamazenta, the legend in Galar is that they were, you know, there was an ancient king. It was actually 2 Pokemon, and I like the idea of the Ruinous Quartet being tied to an ancient Pokemon. And so I had commissioned art for it was like a king form of Golden Go. And it was a whole thing, and I made a video and then I lost the footage and then I never went back to it.
What the heck, Dusty? You got to go back to it.
Oh,
I know.
I need to see this video.
I never posted it.
Dude, you gotta revisit that, man. We're
I'll give
starving
it
for some DustyGogoat content.
I know. Honestly, I should. The next video, I'll slip that in there and I'll explain it. But yeah, a 5th member of the Ruinous Quartet would be epic. I think. What else? I'm thinking about the smaller. I think there's what?
Imagine they added to the Loyal 3. And they were like, this Pokemon was also affected by the toxic chain, but it broke away from Pecharunt. No, they wouldn't do it. It's too soon.
It's too
but, like,
niche
my brain's
as well.
like, that would be so fun. I think an obvious one, even though they already got regional variants, I feel like an obvious one is Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres are there. So, do you want to do something with them?
Dude, that would be kind of cool.
What about their regional forms being there?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe the
Galar,
regional forms jumped over
Right there.
to Kalos.
Mhm.
I could see it.
Mhm.
I could
would be
see
so
that,
cool,
and then
honestly.
also, dude, that would be so cool. I know Hoops has made a really cool version of like, I think it's like a rock type bird for the Kanto region, a legendary bird, and it's like
That would be neat. Don't even have the Kanto birds in this. Just do the
Yeah,
Galar
just the
birds.
regional. Yeah.
no, I want the
That would
originals
be so
too.
cool.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, you know
But
what,
the
dude?
originals are
I think it's
so
one or
much
the other.
worse.
It's one or the other.
No,
Oh,
you
yeah.
no. Here it is. If the Kanto birds are here, you gotta have Lugia and Ho-Oh, and then you bring in Raikou and Suicune again, just to chase them around the region.
So the bottom line is all of the legendaries are back.
No, that's
All
not,
of them are
yeah.
back, except
That's
for
not
Gen
all of
4
them.
and 5.
Yeah, dude, a fairy
I-
type Reggie would be insane.
I do think there's some merit in also looking at what Scarlet and Violet legendaries or what Pokemon were not in Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
And the only legendaries missing are, of course, Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde, but then also you are missing the Tapus and Silvally and the Ultra Beasts. Do they bring back the Ultra Beasts and give us a new Ultra Beast?
I was thinking that
who
with
knows?
Necrozma. They literally could have one Ultra Beast just pop up. You know, because
Dude.
what it is right.
Mega Naganadel.
To tie into our
No.
previous conversation, just like how it's in their best interest to give us like access to regions and stories. It's also in their best interest, and that's kind of what we're talking about now, to give us access in different ways to purchase their game in order to unlock Pokemon, right? So I think that actually makes total sense to give us access to the Ultra Beasts.
Yeah.
How else would we get them? You know,
Yeah. That's been
and they can
a topic for a
and
while.
they can explain it. They can just be like, they just showed up, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They would have to explain it some way,
Man.
somehow.
yeah, so I think that's pretty fun. I think that's pretty fun.
I'm telling you, man, I love the potential with this game. Man, there's a lot of routes they could do, honestly, and that's my favorite kind of Pokemon game because I feel like no matter what we think, it's gonna be something else,
Yeah.
and that is exciting to me.
No,
That's
absolutely,
so
man.
exciting to me.
I was even just thinking, I'm like, the Lottie duo. What if there's a third
Oh
one?
my god, dude, don't even play like that.
And
They
it's
got a
they
Mega
can make it
2.
green. They can make it green.
Oh,
I mean, I think they could probably be in the game because they got megas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about
yeah.
getting a third one, but
Latios is
yeah.
blue for Sapphire. Latias is red for Ruby, and then you have a green one.
Emerald.
Latios.
Adios. Latawi.
The design wouldn't
France.
be that different, but
Because
it would be kind
France,
of cool. Yeah.
OUI, Latawi.
It depends if they're actually going to add like just like a new random Pokemon. But I think if they did, it would really have to be like the A legendary Pokemon. So I'm just like,
Yeah, but
I
they
don't
could
see
give
it
us
being
another
like
one
that.
too. That is a good point.
I would see it like it'd have to be like, would a Latios third like new Pokemon, would it be the A legendary? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I see
would
it.
it be if the A legendary they were just like, it's Articuno?
It's possible. I mean, I think
Legend
possible to
Zapdos
just be-
Articuno.
Wait, you thought the Z was about Zygarde? No,
No, it's
Zygarde's
Zapdos
not even in
Moltres
the game.
Articuno. It's Legend
This is-
ZMA.
Yeah, the DLC's just called M. It's Moltres.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that it is a legendary in general, or a Pokemon
Nah,
even. So
It could be a person too. Like it could be
Yeah.
AZ. It could,
Yeah.
there's options.
could be a lot of things.
I think it's fun to think about which legends could be in this. But what else were you guys thinking about Legends ZA? Soul's been tweeting all week long.
Character customization better be good. I texted y'all this, but look, for one, X and Y are the first Pokemon games to introduce character customization. For two, Paris, which is where the game is set, and Lumia City, which is Poke Paris, is the fashion capital of the world. And lastly, for number three, Scarlet and Violet's customization was, I don't want to say it was bad, but it was horrible.
Yes.
And they need to make up for it.
Horrible.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you,
I don't
man.
care too much because I don't really care about customization at all. I like
that's
just
crazy
play
to
with
me.
the character. I literally just play with the character and that's it. Like,
But it
and if I-
expresses who you are.
yeah.
Like if you don't have cool clothes, you look like a dork.
You should know that I just am like the old classic player. You know, that's all I do. I never needed it. I just played as red, and that's it.
Is that what you
Wait,
still do?
You never customize your character?
Not a lot of times. I don't.
You don't even put the mask on? The
I
Zoro
did.
mask?
If there's something like I really like, I will do it. Yeah. So,
I loved being able to customize my person.
but literally,
There's so
I'll
many
pick
cool
one,
outfits.
I'll pick one outfit, and that's it. And then I'm done. That's it. I'm playing with that the whole time.
Wow.
So yeah, it doesn't matter too much to me, but yeah, the styles are interesting. I know people.
I know
care about it a
people
lot.
have always wanted them to do like, but I feel like they'd save this for a new generation, not a Legends game. But like changing body types, right?
Dude, I want to have a beard in a Pokemon game.
I don't know that they'll ever do that though, because
They're
you're supposed to
children.
be playing as a kid. I was just saying, like, you know, if you're a bigger dude, you know, you can make your character bigger. You know, if you're, I don't know, a shorter dude, you can make your character shorter.
I had facial hair
wants to do that?
in 5th grade. Give me a beard option. Come on. I want to give myself a little lean gut, you know?
X and Y, didn't they let you
a
do
nice
like a little bit of
5'9" height.
There was a leak from the Terra leak that had the X and Y character with like a mustache.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just a leak of concept art.
But see, yeah, because like you have to rework the story around that. Like you're saying, give them a beard, but like, you know, I don't know. They're sitting there and they're like, "Hey, we're all children." You're standing there with your beard, like, "Yes, I too am a child."
Yeah. You know, something that I really appreciate about character customization in these
How do you
Pokemon
do, fellow
games,
kids?
I feel like each game showcases specific clothing and styles depending or that reflect the region that you're in. Like X and Y first time it was pretty chibi, so it was kind of just like run of the mill. You had t-shirts and sweatshirts. It was pretty basic, top hats, whatever. And then when we went to Alola, I remember not totally loving that I didn't have, like I was almost like in Alola, you're locked to like vacation clothes.
Right,
Looking
no
back,
long sleeves.
Yeah, I can appreciate that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense, right? And it wasn't until Legends Arceus where I was really like, wow, like they're doing something special. In Legends Arceus, of course, you're only going to be wearing clothes that reflect the environment that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think coming off of Sword and Shield, where you it was a return to just like standard clothing. You had everything. You could dress up however you wanted to. But dressing up in, I think it's really nice. I think it's really nice. It's a great way to maintain the unique, or it's a great way to maintain how like the vibe of the main character, right? Like when I play Johto, I play as Ethan or Gold or whatever, and that to me feels like Johto, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even though they introduce character customization, you're still limited by the like aesthetics of the clothing. That still ground you and reflect whatever like region you're in. So I think when we're looking at Legends EA and what the art style might be, it can be kind of troublesome because I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a rich guy with a mustache and a stupid hat and a button-up suit.
Do they give us cigars?
It looks like it, and I don't.
Is that what you're suggesting, Soul?
It looks like it.
And I don't want to wear. I mean, I don't know. I know some people like outfits like this, but this to me does not feel like an adventure. This
Did you
is
see like the
weird.
tweet underneath it though? I mean, it's just like an idea concept, yeah.
Totally.
So underneath is like the
this is
actual
Well, this is way
something
different.
like that.
This is like it's kind of like
It's like
steampunky.
steampunky. Yeah, but
Yep. A little
they would have
fantasy
to
with the high
adapt
boots.
it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I found I just took a look at like I was like, you know what? These are like rich people, rich fancy people. What would the working class look like? And I pulled up this like random image, and it's just a bunch of guys, just they're still wearing suits and stuff, but it's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, it was cool that you did that.
And they're all wearing the classic, like we see these hats all the time in Boston, which is I don't even know what they're called. Those like Irish hats.
Mm-hmm.
What are they
I
called?
know what they're called, but
I have
don't
no idea
know.
what they're called.
Yeah.
Like if you said it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. But I
And
don't
I
know.
could see that. That's kind of cool. Oh, someone even left a comment. I didn't even see this. It's like a similar outfit. It's like from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They look.
It was a hint.
Yeah. They look kind of similar.
I like that though, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like they've got to bring back a lot of the like just as a little Easter egg, they've got to bring back some of the clothes from Kalos. Like if it's more modern, you got to give us the like Vanillite shirt, that Tierna wore and you were able to buy in the game.
That's true.
I will say though, you were saying that these don't look like an adventure outfit, but if I may, it's not really an adventure game,
because we're
right?
always in
you're
a
all
city.
in one city.
You're right.
Right. So you're probably like, I'm just guessing here, obviously I don't know anything about the game, but based on like what we know about being the urban redevelopment project, I am imagining you're working for or with a company that is like redeveloping Lumia City. So I am thinking like work attire does kind of sound more in line.
Yeah. And you know what, actually?
I mean, you change your clothes anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think, we talk about, I think the Pokemon creators, Masuda specifically, right, talks about the idea of beauty kind of informing him as they created the Kalos games. And I think that does show, I think beauty is subjective. And throughout the game, what I'm remembering is that there's a lot of moments where people are defining you, the player character, or defining themselves based on their like status in the region, right? Status in not culture, in society, right? Their status in society. So I do kind of like the idea of, having these different types of clothing available that span from not only the lower class, but also all the way up to the upper class. And then you get these kind of wacky things where you get more like, I don't know. I think that I could see a game where the character customization is a lot more varied than maybe what we're just looking at right here,
Yeah.
And we do even have that in
possible.
Legends Arceus.
The thing is that
you have more traditional
X and,
stuff.
Yeah. X and Y is what like basically opened up the character customization too. So I think
It's a major theme. Yeah.
They probably want to go back to something like that anyway.
That's totally true.
X and Y's is like the most diverse, I feel like, in options. Like you were able to just get t-shirts, but you also could wear like big, what are they called, like puffer jackets and stuff,
And so if Legends EA takes place in the future, where did you get a lot of your inspiration here from, Soul? This is cool. All this stuff.
I mean, most of them are just kind of from like modern streetwear, and then also Callum and Serena, like what they look like.
Oh, that's true.
That's why they're there. Just like a more street version of that.
That's true.
Because like city is like street
it is
vibes.
streetwear. You're right, dude. It's
Wow,
dude, a Pokemon game where we're in streetwear. I love that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's actually so
why not?
cool. That makes sense. It's a game that takes place in a
super-
stupid city.
Yeah, if it's in the city, then that's where.
Functional
like
clothing that's still stylish but still functional. That's awesome, actually. I kind of love
Most
that.
people picked the modern. They wanted to do the modern route, which is
Yeah.
interesting. But
really?
That reminds me of streetwear takes a lot of inspiration from. It's obviously like stylish, but obviously takes also inspiration from like utility, and I think that reminds me a little bit of this other type of clothing or the style where people, I forget what it's called, but like where people are buying like high end. What do you call it? Like activewear, high-end activewear, maybe like stuff from like REI, from like a brand like REI or whatever. And it's like for extreme temperatures, or it's for extreme, physical activity. And you can kind of see that at the bottom. And the other character, so the NPCs that I'm thinking about are from the Hoenn games. Brendan and May, they have like extreme weather clothing options, which reflects the extreme environments of the region. But again, there's a huge connection between Kalos and Hoenn. So this makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the base of this tweet anyway. Just being like, what's the fit?
Yeah.
What do you want to wear?
No, dude, it's a super cool prompt.
What do y'all want to wear?
I think I want to wear the streetwear now. This is this is actually so cool because I can imagine what it looks like.
Yeah, it's my preferred like style, I guess, but nothing like a suit and like classic look, I like that.
Yeah, that is fun.
Personally.
No, that can be fun.
But
like it feels a little bit more, I don't know. You know what? And I bet that stuff is actually still going to be available. I can see, even if most of it is streetwear and modern, I could still see there being like classic items, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like you could still wear a suit and sword and shield. You know, I think that they'll let you be fancy if you wanna. They'll let you be more casual if you wanna. Like I said, I kind of think that customization will be a big part of this game, just because it was a big part of Kalos before. And in fact, if y'all remember, it was even supposed to be a Kalos only thing. Like Junichi Masuda had talked about how like it was a Kalos thing.
It was inspired by I don't know if like they were like, oh, well, we won't do it in the future. They might have thought that because maybe it was like
I think they said something about it when Oris came out. And people were upset.
Yeah, I think they probably were like, we want to, like, the region of Kalos and the ideas that they were sharing inspired them to take the extra step and incorporate customization. And I think when they were doing Oraz, they were like, oh, well, we don't need to do that. It's not necessary. But I feel like it's one of those features that once you introduce, you can't go back, right? Like, obviously, we saw it in every other region since, right? I think Kalos was just the inspiration point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like I said, I
cool,
really
man.
do hope that it's to the like it's at the forefront of this game. But I did find here there's a US Gamer article, and it says, according to the most recent interview, there is no trainer customization. This was about Oris, due to the fact that the feature, according to the creators, happens to be a Kalos only feature, and because they wanted to retain the feel of the original games as close as possible.
Yeah.
But that's
what they always say.
Yeah, I suppose that it could be open to interpretation, where they're saying a Kalos only feature because at that point it was Kalos only. Yeah. But I know, like, I remember that interview and my brain interpreted it as, oh crap, they don't want to like do this going forward. Like, they wanted that to be only for X and Y.
Yeah, maybe. I think things change a little bit once they hear reception.
But either way, I say that to say they clearly think of Kalos and customization. Like, that is together for them. So I feel like it's gonna be good. Have good features.
Dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
For sure.
Just wanted to end things off by showing this little fun tweet of a concept art of someone playing, or concept of someone playing the black and white on a Switch 2. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what should the question of the day be?
I mean, for one, how do you organize your PC?
Are you gonna? That's a good one.
Yeah, you can tell
Are you
us.
gonna play? Yeah, go for it. If you're going, I was gonna say another question of the day.
Let's all come up with one. Mine is how you organize your PC. Dusty, what's your question of the day?
I don't know.
I was gonna say the hidden power one. Are you gonna play Legends EA on Switch 2
on launch?
Right away? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I want to.
I like. You know what? Tell me which Legends you think we're gonna be able to have access to in Legends EA. I think that's a really fun prompt. That
3
Soul
questions of
put
the
up
day.
on this. Yeah.
Answer them all, or just unsubscribe. We don't even want you here if you're not gonna.
Thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. If you guys, if you're craving more content, we've been posting a lot. If you're going back to, you are back at work. If you've been hitting the gym recently and you need something to listen to during your commute, during your daily grind, we have so many VODs over on our Patreon. They're also available to YouTube channel members. $5 gets you in the door, gets you access to so many hours of content that we have. It also gets you in our secret Discord, and you can even, don't forget, if you sign up, join the Discord, and on February 11th, you guys can jump in and join the conversation and be on the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we'll be live streaming soon with a Legends EA reaction. That's what we're really waiting to do. Oh my God. Good to see you guys. Bye.
Bye.